Tig and Lomster by Dylan Scrivener. Morning, Son, says Tig.
Why are you in such a hurry today?
Asks Son. I have to get to the park before everyone else gets there.
Why's that?
Because I don't like it when there are lots of other people there. It's too busy.
Don't you like having lots of other people to play with?
No. Tig shakes her head.
How do you know if you don't try? Asks Son.
Tig shrugs. It's just not for me.
Well, I never,
says Son, floating along in the sky next to them.
And who's that with you?
That's Lomster, says Tig.
What is Lomster?
Tig points at Lomster. My imagination, she says.
Is it friendly?
Son looks at Lomster. Lomster bares his teeth and growls. Grrr! Sometimes, says Tig.
I see,
says the Son, rising a little higher, a little more out of the way. Tig is walking the long way round to the park through the woods.
Wouldn't it be quicker to go across the field?
Asks Son, watching them through the leaves. No, it's too noisy and the trees make me happy.
What do you like about the trees, Tig?
They make a sort of swishy friendly sound, says Tig.
But you don't want to see the fun fair in the park?
Asks Son. No, thank you, says Tig, stepping carefully over a snail. Son was surprised.
I thought everyone liked fun fairs.
They're just not for me, says Tig.
Well, I never,
says Son. Around the corner, children are playing. Tig and Lomster stop to watch from behind a tree.
Look at all those children playing hide and seek. Don't you want to join them?
No, I just like to watch.
Go on, Tig, give it a try.
No, thank you, Son. It's just not for me.
Well, I never,
says Son. Around the corner, Son spies an ice cream stand. A lady in a yellow hat is selling ice cream cones.
Look, Tig, don't you want an ice cream?
Asks Son. Tig stops and looks for a moment. Lomster pulls on his lead. No, thank you, Son. I don't like talking to people much.
Why's that, Tig?
Asks Son. It's just not my thing, says Tig.
Well, I never,
says Son. Tig and Lomster find an old oak tree in the quiet shade of the wood. They climb up the branches. 1, 2, 3. And they find the perfect place to sit.
What are you doing in the tree, Tig?
Asks Son, watching Tig line up colouring pencils and a notepad on the branch. Writing Lomster stories, she says.
Does Lomster like having stories written about him?
Asks Son, keeping one eye on Lomster. Sometimes, says Tig.
I see,
says Son. Then Tig undoes a tin lunchbox and takes out a pot of thick, orange, wiggling worms.
Why have you got a pot of worms in your lunchbox, Tig?
For Lomster, says Tig, holding up a big, juicy one for Son to see. They're his favourite. Want to try one? Son makes a face like a letterbox.
No, thank you, Tig.
Don't you like eating worms? She asks.
No,
says Son. How do you know you don't like them until you try them? She asks.
They're just not for me,
says Sun. Well, I never, says Tig.